The Beverly Hillbilly and the Merry Men of Griffith Park. The sun was shining bright and clear over the hills of California, a long way from the quiet mountain woods where the story of the Clampett family had first begun. Not so long ago, a poor mountaineer named Jed barely kept his family fed, living a simple life in the deep woods. Then, one fortunate day, while he was out shooting at some food in the brush, up through the ground came a bubbling crude
Oil, that is.
black gold. Texas tea. The next thing you know, old Jed was a millionaire, and his kinfolk told him it was time to move away from there. They said California was the place he ought to be, so they loaded up the old family truck and they moved right into Beverly Hills, a land of swimming pools and movie stars. Yet, despite all the wealth and the fancy houses, the old mountain ways never truly left them. Deep within the stone walls of the Commerce Bank of Beverly Hills, Milburn Drysdale, the anxious bank president, paced the floor of his office. He looked up sharply as his loyal secretary, Miss Jane Hathaway, walked through the door. "Chief, where have you been?" Mr. Drysdale asked, his voice tight with worry. "Well, I have been driving Granny and Mr. Clampett around Griffith Park looking for Robin Hood," Miss Jane replied, trying her best to remain calm. "Robin Hood?" Mr. Drysdale repeated, his eyes widening in disbelief. "Jethro? You mean that nut actually took to the woods like he threatened?" "Yes, Chief," Miss Jane sighed. "He claims that leaving that castle in England robbed him of his birthright. So now he is hiding out in the park and the Clampetts are trying to get him back." "It is absolutely unbelievable," Mr. Drysdale muttered, shaking his head. "Not for Jethro," Miss Jane countered gently. "I mean for them to want him back," Mr. Drysdale clarified with a groan, thinking of the endless trouble the large, thick-headed young man caused. "And besides, Ellie Mae is with him, and also the family truck and a couple of Ellie Mae's pets." Meanwhile, deep within the green, shady woods of Griffith Park, Jethro Bodine was marching through the trees, completely convinced that he was the legendary hero of Sherwood Forest. He wore a bright outfit that he believed befitted a rogue of the woods, and he carried a wooden bow with great pride. He stopped by a clearing and looked around, trying to sound as regal as possible. "What ho, little Jed! See any rich merchants a-coming?" Jethro called out to the empty air. He turned his attention to a young hippie who was sitting nearby on a log, wearing long hair and colorful beads. "Hey, Nate Marion, what did Little John say?" "Well," he said, he did not see no rich merchants a-coming. The young man replied, playing along with a lazy smile. Jethro nodded importantly. "Ask him if he has seen any fat friars. A kid do not eat two fat friars." The young man looked confused. "You talking about Granny's chickens?" "Oh, never mind," Jethro said, waving his hand in disappointment. "I got me one sad bunch of merry men. And yonder is the saddest." He pointed toward a nearby thicket where Duke the hound dog was napping, a large ape was sitting quietly, and Ellie Mae was trying to adjust her mountain clothes. Jethro sighed, looking at his cousin. A hound dog, an ape, and a dumb old girl cousin that do not know a preacher from a bullet. "Don't forget me, Robin Hood," a young woman named Stella said, stepping forward with a grin. "Well, I do not know if I can trust you, Miss Stella," Jethro said, holding his bow high. "Your boyfriend deserted, and he was the only real merry man I had. But he will be back," Stella promised, leaning against a tree. "He left his wheels." "Well, I am afraid I am gonna have to hold you hostage," Jethro declared, trying to look fierce. "Really?" Stella giggled. "If he do not come back, well, whatever was his is gonna be mine," Jethro said, nodding to himself. "Well, why wait?" Stella asked, stepping closer to him with an amused look in her eye. "You are Robin Hood. This park is your domain. You are the law west of the freeway."
"Yeah?"
Jethro asked, his confidence soaring.
"Sure."
"A man like you just takes what he wants," Stella encouraged him. "Even if she belongs to somebody else?" Jethro asked, his eyes widening. "Of course," Stella laughed. "Hot dog." Jethro shouted happily. "I am gonna take her." Stella shook her head, turning to her friend. "Crazy. Is he for real?" "What is the matter, Miss Stella?" Jethro asked, suddenly confused by her change in tone. I do not think the jolly green giant has all his carrots, Stella muttered to herself. Not far away, near the edge of the woods, Jed Clampett and Granny were walking down a dusty trail, searching the brush for any sign of the young people. Granny was carrying a large wooden spoon, looking highly annoyed by the whole situation. I am ready to quit your stall walking, Granny grumbled, wiping her brow. You know Jethro will be back quick as he gets hungry. Gets hungry? Jed asked, scratching his head. Look at that. He must have toted off 100 pounds of middles. That is enough to last him till sundown. Jed, I am afraid for the boy, Granny said, her voice softening with genuine grandmotherly worry. He is gonna get hurt. He ain't gonna get hurt, Jed said reassuringly. Oh, yes, he is, Granny snapped, her temper flaring up again. I am gonna put a hardwood finish on them red rompers up here.
He will just simmer down.
After all, he's gonna get over this Robin Hood notion. But what about Ellie Mae? Jed asked, looking out over the thick trees. Out there in the woods, do not that worry you? That girl was born and raised in the woods, Granny reminded him. Besides, she has got old Duke Weather, and that dressed-up ape. I mean, the little one not yet. I am too nervous to sit here. Let us go back to that park and find him. We ain't got a ride till Miss Jane comes back with the groceries, Jed said, pointing back toward where they had parked. Oh, I forgot. Besides, maybe that buddy fell off by himself. That boy we picked up in the park with the long hair and the beads. Oh, yeah, Granny said, nodding.
The one Miss Jane said was a yippee.
I believe it was Hippie, Jed corrected her gently. Hippie, he looked like a nut to me, Granny muttered. Sure was friendly. Too friendly, Jed agreed with a slow nod. Kept trying to find out how I smoked crawdads. You know, Granny, there is nobody can smoke crawdads like you. Well, he sure knew nothing about it, Granny laughed. Kept asking me, which end to light. That was the easy draw. You just make him talk.
You are a pleasant fellow.
He says he is going to get his friends from Sunset Strip to help find Jethro, Jed said, looking down the path. Down in another part of the park, the young hippie had indeed gathered a large group of his friends from the city. They were all wearing colorful shirts, headbands, and beads, sitting in a circle around a small clearing. The young man stood in the middle, gesturing wildly. Wake up in there, he called out. Come on up, buddies. Let us go. Hey, there you go.
Come on,
girl. Keep it up. Keep it coming. Keep it going. Come on in here. Håll it. The crowd gathered around him, murmuring happily. The young man raised his hands high, calling for silence. Dearly beloved, he announced dramatically. We are gathered here to pledge allegiance to our new leader, the King of the Cats, the Pharaoh of the Far Out, Robin Hood. I know we have had some great leaders in the past, Eric the Red, Buffalo Bill, and the late, great Lady Godiva. But hear me, friends. Our new leader is El Supremo. This cat chases dragons. This cat flies with the birds and talks to the apes. This cat smokes broadheads. And we are going to be his band of merry men. Take from the rich and give to the poor. Suddenly, one of the girls pointed up the road toward a cloud of dust. Look, girl, up the road. It is a bird. It is a plane. It is Robin Hood and Little John. Follow him. Follow our leader. Back near the edge of the park, Miss Jane Hathaway and Mr. Drysdale were walking toward the Clampett family truck, carrying several large bags of groceries. Miss Jane was wearing a bright, green birdwatcher's outfit complete with a small hat, while Mr. Drysdale was dressed in his usual expensive business suit, looking utterly miserable. Who needs you? Mr. Drysdale grumbled, adjusting his collar. That was the only sack left. Is you I am apologizing for. Did you have to wear that silly-looking birdwatcher's outfit? This is most appropriate for searching the woods of Griffith Park, Miss Jane defended herself, lifting her chin. It is pretty embarrassing in the supermarket, Mr. Drysdale snapped. Speaking of the supermarket, Mr. Drysdale, what are we for all them groceries? Oh no, Mr. Drysdale groaned, waving his hands. Shut up, please. Put away your money. It is over.
Take care of it.
He is right, Mr. Clampett, Miss Jane said as